When originally starting this project, I decided to use clicker training on my friend's dog Mello, but ran into some unforeseen consequences when I brought him to my house to train and he met my cat, James Dean. In order to prevent a cat fight, I decided to use James Dean for the focus of my project instead. In order to get the necessary supplies, I went to Petco to buy a clicker and treats. The treats are a primary reinforcer, while the clicker will be conditioned to be a secondary reinforcer. I also made sure to feed my cat slightly less than I had been, especially before any of the training sessions, so he would be more motivated to work for food. It caused some problems. The target behavior that I wanted to train was for James Dean to high-five me. But first I needed to establish the novel and neutral stimulus of the clicker as a conditioned stimulus by creating the strong association of the contingent relationship of the click noise and the unconditioned stimulus of the treats that followed immediately after. For strong contiguity, I wanted to use as close to a 0-second trace as possible, and after the click becomes a conditioned stimulus, it can be used as a positive reinforcer to teach a target behavior.
James Dean, can you give me a high five?
This is to show that James
James
Dean
Dean.
did not already know how to
James Dean,
high-five before we started the training.
James Dean, come here. Come here. Can you high five? James Dean, can you give me a high five? No? No high five? Can you give me a high five?
Because I figured that the target behavior of James Dean giving me a high five was unlikely to occur by chance, I decided to use shaping by successive approximations and reinforce closer and closer approximations to the behavior that I was trying to teach. I started with using the clicker relationship by teaching him to touch a target, which in my case was a wooden rod. I began by reinforcing with a click and treat every time James Dean touched the target. Every training session, I moved the position of my hand closer and closer to the top of the rod, until my hand was eventually covering the top. I maintained continuous reinforcement each time he engaged in the target behavior, but I made sure to never reinforce if he missed or swatted the clicker or my other hand that it was holding the treats instead. At this stage, I was finally able to get rid of the wooden rod that I had been holding, which had been acting as a discriminative stimulus for the target behavior. Before, he would not have high-fived my hand without the rod, but because of shaping by approximation, James Dean continued to high-five me in its absence. At this point, I have decided to stop the use of treats and instead use only the conditioned reinforcer of the click to reinforce the target behavior. Now, without the treats, he completes the behavior of the high five, demonstrating that he has finally learned a new trick through shaping by successive approximations.
Say hi to the whole family. This is James Dean.